The sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912 remains one of the most infamous disasters ever. The beautiful ship was meant to be marveled at and revolutionize traveling. However, it turned out to be a traumatizing tragedy. Numerous factors contributed to the tragedy, including the ship's collision with an iceberg. However, a shocking discovery has recently surfaced, raising questions about the qualifications of Captain Edward Smith. What if the sinking of this ship was not because of fate, but due to hiring incapable individuals? Would you have set foot aboard the ship if it was being controlled by a man who failed his exams? Today, we're going to try and find out why a man who failed his exams was allowed to steer a ship worth $7.5 million back then. According to recent reports, it's been speculated that Captain Smith, the man who was in charge of steering the ship, was not even qualified to set foot in it. How shocking is that? However, this is not entirely true. According to television historian Tony Robinson, it's been suggested that the captain of the Titanic, which famously sank following an iceberg collision in 1912, had initially not passed his navigation examination. The Board of Trade administered the exam in question, responsible for certifying the competency of British seafarers. This discovery has led many to question whether Captain Smith was qualified to command such a prestigious and colossal vessel as the Titanic. However, if he wasn't qualified, then how did he get hired to steer such a special ship? Well, before we answer that question, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel today for more interesting videos. Multiple critics argue that Captain Smith's alleged exam failure raises concerns about his navigational skills and his ability to make critical decisions during the Titanic's maiden voyage. Maybe they didn't know, but Edward John Smith, the captain who tragically perished with the ship, got the green light in the end. He managed to obtain his master's certificate in February 1888. Yet, there are a plethora of people who believe this to be untrue. So, we must try to verify the veracity of this claim. While the claim of Captain Smith's exam failure is intriguing, it's crucial to consider the historical context. In the late 19th century, maritime examinations were not uncommon, and even experienced seafarers occasionally faced failures. So it wasn't abnormal for someone to fail his exams. However, so do we. Have you never failed an exam? Would you want the whole world calling you a failure and untrustworthy only because you failed one exam? In my opinion, failing an exam does not necessarily equate to incompetence or lack of experience. I would also like to emphasize that Captain Smith had an extensive career at sea, with decades of experience, including commanding prestigious vessels before the Titanic. So riding the Titanic wasn't his first rodeo. Yet, there is a small percentage of population that would like to blame him. But it's important for us to realize that the sinking of the Titanic was a culmination of various factors, not solely dependent on Captain Smith's abilities. The absence of adequate binoculars in the crow's nest, the ship's high speed in iceberg-infested waters, inadequate safety procedures, and the lack of sufficient lifeboats all played significant roles in the tragedy. It seems a little unfair to place the entire blame on Captain Smith's alleged exam failure when considering the broader circumstances that contributed to the disaster. So, while this disaster remains a mystery, the sinking of the Titanic was a tragedy event that profoundly impacted maritime safety regulations. The lessons learned from the disaster continue to shape the maritime industry to this day, ensuring the safety of future voyages. The news that Captain Edward might have flunked an exam before captaining the Titanic is mind-blowing. It makes you question whether he was actually qualified for the job. But hold on, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. There were so many other factors that led to the Titanic sinking, and we can't put all the blame on Smith's alleged exam failure, and he only failed in his first attempt. Do you think it's fair to judge the failures of someone and base our opinions according to them? What do you think? Do you think the captain was responsible for the sinking of the Titanic? Do you think it could have been avoided had he not been the one in control of the ship? Let us know in the comments section below. That's it for today. If you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to never miss another video again. We'll see you again with another video.